Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Wednesday, August 14th, 2019. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. 15 persons from Nevis will make up the 68-member team from St. Kitts and Nevis in Carifesta 14, which will take place from Thursday, August 22nd to Monday, August 26th in Trinidad and Tobago.
St. Kitts and Nevis will be sending a delegation to that Caribbean festival. From Nevis itself, we're keeping our mantra that we had for Culturama C45, which is a concentration on folklore. And so we will be sending a team of masqueraders to Trinidad and Tobago. They will be leaving on Thursday and will be in Trinidad until the 26th of August. So we have selected our finest masqueraders from Nevis so we can showcase Nevis culture, Nevis folklore, by way of masquerade.
Chief Executive Officer in the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation, Jerome Rollins, is leading the Nevision delegation.
We'll be having live feed back from Carifesta. We have a media team that will be going as well. So persons in St. Kitts and Nevis will be able to see their members from St. Kitts and Nevis in Trinidad in real time performing. This in itself should lead to some level of excitement as we perform in Trinidad.
Rollins expressed his gratitude to the Nevis Island administration for making the trip possible.
Well, I would like to thank the Nevis Island administration for making this possible, the Minister of Culture, Honorable Eric Evelyn, for making this possible for the Nevis team to attend this event in Trinidad. And like I mentioned, it is the biggest regional cultural festival in the Caribbean. And if I might mention that this one is special because they're having a contingent from China, and they're also having a huge contingent from India, plus media coverage. So you're talking about media coverage from China and India being broadcast to billions of people, the two most populated countries in the world. And so you can imagine local masqueraders from Nevis being broadcast throughout China and India. So that is the magnitude in which I'm talking about in terms of culture going global.
Deputy Director of the Marine Resources Department on Nevis, Lemuel Pemberton, continues to call on the public to resist the urge to poach nesting sea turtles on the island's shores to help preserve the critically endangered species as listed by the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Flora and Fauna Sites. The call follows a recent incident at Cades Bay Beach in which members of the Nevis Sea Turtle Group, led by Mr. Pemberton, found evidence of poaching activity of a hawksbill turtle which was believed to be dragged off the beach under the cover of darkness from its nesting area.
We want to remind people that this used to be happening on a fairly large scale when we started doing this sea turtle conservation work, and that with the enforcement and the increased patrols we were able to sort of reduce that. And now we don't really want this kind of behavior to reappear because the species have not recovered yet. It will take many years because they were many years under pressure, so there will be many years before they recover to a state that they can be fished again to the extent that they were when I was a youngster.
Pemberton explained that if sea turtle poaching continues, it would have a detrimental effect on the entire marine ecosystem in the area.
We already have a very small nesting population. It will be reduced even more, and there's a critical connection with the wider marine ecosystem, because the sea turtles are what we call a keystone species. And remove the keystone species from the environment, it is possible that the whole system will collapse. So you'll probably see more signs of, let's say, like a sponge infestation of the reefs, because we have, of course, this hawksbill turtle, which its favorite diet is the sponge. And without the hawksbill to basically eat the sponges will take over the spaces where the coral reefs are, and then we'll have a reduction in coral reefs, we have a reduction in fish populations, we have a reduction in marine health, the wealth of the whole marine ecosystem. So it's a whole domino effect.
The senior marine resources officer reminded the public that if they are caught interfering with the sea turtles, they would be subject to hefty fines at the Magistrates Court in keeping with the Fisheries, Aquaculture and Marine Resources Act 2016.
The penalty for interfering with a nesting turtle, or for having turtle eggs in your possession, even if you are not the perpetrator, you're not the person who did it, the penalty is $5,000 EC. So you could be charged for possession of the turtle, you could be charged for possession of the eggs, for possession of the shell or any part of the turtle, and also charged for disturbing the nest. Okay, because you should not disturb the nesting turtle. So if we really, the prosecutors, if they decide to charge you, you might end up paying something like $25,000, $30,000 or even more.
St. Kitts and Nevis are signatories to CITES and the Convention on Biodiversity, and as such is obligated to protect the endangered species and biodiversity for the use and enjoyment of present and future generations on the island. Still to come, Minister Evelyn says Gingerama Cultural Center just about complete. The details after this break.
At a loss as to what's going on in Nevis? Tune into NNC on NTV. Don't worry if you don't have cable either. NNC will bring the news to you wherever you are. Facebook and Facebook Live. YouTube and YouTube Live. NevisTVOnline.com. Roku app, NTV mobile app, Smart TV, Apple TV, and any other IPTV platforms. When me ANC and you ANC, NNC.
Welcome back. The Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, on Tuesday, August 13th, conducted a consultation geared towards the development of a youth policy and operational strategy in Nevis, a policy that is gender responsive and socially inclusive. The consultation, which took place at the conference room of the Nevis Red Cross headquarters, saw participation from a number of young people identified as key stakeholders who shared their opinions and interest in youth development in Nevis. Tiffany Daniels Bailey, CDB consultant for the Youth Policy and Operational Strategy, facilitated the consultation.
We had rich discussions, especially in a very intergenerational settings. We didn't just have young people, we had some older persons as well. So just that dialogue and just hearing some people problem solve and solution find together despite their age group, despite their circumstances, I think was very enlightening for me. The concerns around the education system and the way that that's linked to the economy, I find was very eye-opening, and it was interesting that the concerns and opportunities that were expressed, those were shared, whether it was a young person or an older person. So it definitely indicates that that's one of the main priorities for those on Nevis. What we're going to do is compile all of the findings into a youth study, which will be available for public consumption. So anyone wanting to work with and for young people in any setting, whether it's regional across the Caribbean or in St. Kitts and Nevis, or specifically in Nevis, will have a tool, will have evidence that they can use to make sure that their work is evidence-driven, rather than us just working in isolation.
The CDB representative also explained that the institution has been conducting surveys and focus group discussions with young people, youth workers, and other stakeholders. St. Kitts and Nevis is one of the 4 countries which were selected to be part of the study. The other countries are Belize, British Virgin Islands, and Suriname. The construction of the cultural center in the Gingerama village is just about complete. This is according to Minister of Culture, the Honorable Eric Evelyn.
We have done the construction, we have done the painting, we have done the tiling. We are finishing up with the electrical work on the inside now. We still have a little bit of work to do in the stage area. And in terms of that particular phase is practically complete. Just some finishing touches to be done there. However, we still have the booths to construct, and we still have the perimeter fence to do. And we want to get all of that done prior to the start of Gingerama 2019.
Minister Evelyn is also the chairperson of the Gingerama Festival.
Gingerama 2019 will be held in late November to early December, and so we are hopeful that now the Culturama is over, that we could refocus there at the Gingerama village. Of course, we know that is a project that is being undertaken by my ministry as well. But of course, my ministry was very taken up, very busy with the Culturama festivities. But now that the Culturama is over, we can refocus now and get some more work done at the Gindrama Village. So I would say that things are still pretty much on target for us to have that particular phase ready for Gindrama 2019.
Minister of Culture, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, speaking during an interview with Keith Scarborough, host of Government at Work. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.